Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Should there be an Israel for black people? Now, what do I mean? I've been trying to break this down as simply as I can for the last few years. And it seems like every year I have to break down another layer of what I'm talking about because it's just so confusing to people. And I'm being, coy and sarcastic, but I just can't help it because it seems so simple to me that I just can't understand why people don't understand it. The concept of nationhood. And the question really is, what is the end game? Like, a lot of people are in this so-called black conscious, African-centered, conscious community, for lack of a better term, movement, demographic, and they've been in it for years. To the point where I'm starting to feel as if people are turning the so-called struggle into a fetish. Is it the act of struggling itself that's the turn on, or is there an end game to this? Because for me, it's an end game. For the members of the BAIO, it's an end game, and the end game is nationhood. The solution is nationhood. The solution is an independent nation state of our own. Now, keep in mind, I understand when I make statements like that, sometimes it has a negative reaction when you're dealing with a low frequency mentality. And I'm not being insulting, I'm just calling it like it is. You're talking about people who are reactionary, who don't really have much nuance in their thinking and react to buzzwords. So when I say we need an independent nation of our own, the first thing that goes through their mind is packing a bag and all black folks in America sitting by the shore or sitting in the airport waiting to get on a plane or waiting to get on a boat and, take the boat to Africa and take the planes to Africa. That's the first thing that goes through their mind. They're not nuanced thinkers. Oh, well, you just running away. You don't want to deal with nothing here in America. They don't have any nuance to their thinking. They don't have any listening abilities, because if anybody ever listened to me, they would know I am not anti having a community in America. My position is that we don't currently have them. And if we don't put our foot on the African continent and carve out our piece of existence, which is our natural home and our birthright, and what we should have after the greatest crime in the history of humanity was committed against us, we're not going to have anything here. We're not going to establish a nation inside of the United States of America. Now, we can establish successful and thriving satellite communities once we establish our independent nation state on the continent. But if anybody thinks that we're going to have 3 states given to black people inside of America and we're going to thrive and prosper, let me ask you a question. Let's say our independent nation state inside of America, I'll just, play devil's advocate and pretend that it's something, that it's a thing. Let's say we wanted to do a trade agreement with Iran. Do you think that the United States would allow their airspace, their airports, their seaports, and their roads and highways to be vehicles for Iran to transport to our independent nation? Anytime, let me know what you think about that. Now let's compare it to this. Let's say we have an independent nation state on the continent, a piece of land on the continent that we control. And we wanted a trade agreement with Iran. We wanted a trade agreement with Russia. We wanted a trade agreement with North Korea or any country that the United States considers an enemy of the United States. What's to stop our airports, our seaports, and our roads and highways from transporting whatever goods and services we wanted to our nation? Who's to stop us? See, what kills me is there's brothers and sisters that have been in the army. Do you not know anything about logistics? Do you know anything about strategic positioning? What is your strategic positioning and what's your logistics when you have your nation state right smack dab in the middle of America, surrounded by white folks and surrounded by the United States government? And nobody apparently listened to my Captain America Negro Challenge because I had a lot of questions in there. If you intend to have a nation state inside of America, and I asked, taxes. Are you going to pay taxes to the United States government? Or because you're independent, you're going to not pay taxes and live inside the borders of the United States of America? See, there's a lot of logistical problems with this nation within a nation thing that nobody wants to talk about. But that's another discussion. Um, the question is, should black folks have, um, or should there be an Israel for black people? Should we have our own independent nation state? I really want the people in the comment section to chime in on this. And I'm probably going to do something that I've never done before. Usually, like when people get out of pocket and they get out of hand, I'll ban them or delete them from my channel. For this one, I'm not going to do that. Like, I want to know what you feel. If you feel this is a stupid idea, just go ahead and say it. We're going to go and mix it up and get into it. If you feel it's a good idea, say that too. But I want to know, like, is there a case for nationhood? Is there a case for black people having a nation? Because how is it that the Jews can have a case for nationhood, but we can't? I'm just curious. If you can accept the Jewish and acknowledge and recognize the Jewish state of Israel, you mean to tell me that you can't recognize an African state, a black African state, a diaspora African state, a homeland for our people who scattered in foreign lands? Leave a comment. Let me know how you feel. Talk to you later. Peace.